Hey everybody, Mark here. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at support and resistance and identifying those profit zones inside of Pocket Option. Now, support and resistance has been around for years. Traders have been using it for just decades, and it's always there. I don't really think it's going anywhere. And so this is something that you can look at. You can find it on almost any chart that you look at inside a Pocket Option. It doesn't really matter if it's a stock, if it's a Forex pair, it's on every chart that you see. So that's great because I think once you are able to identify what these zones look like, you can find them anywhere and you can trade with them. So really, really good stuff. So I'm in Pocket Option right now, and I just have this, random chart opened here. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'm using OTC pairs, which means that I can trade any time of the day. So I'm not really restricted to any type of market time frame. I'm not waiting for the market to open. It could be closed. It doesn't matter. I'm on an OTC market. You can find those right over here underneath the currency and the assets menu over here. Just whatever currency pair that you choose, just make sure it says OTC and that it's paying out somewhere close to around 90%. And so, but yeah, pretty basic stuff. We're not going to be using the trade manager today. So this is a highly advanced mathematical calculator and spreadsheet that allows you to win even if you have losses. And I normally talk about this on my YouTube channel, but we're not going to be using it today. Okay. So we're just going to be using fixed trade amounts. I'll be starting with $10. I have $1,000 inside of my real account, inside a Pocket Option. So pretty straightforward. I have a 1 minute time frame. Over here, I'm using regular candles with a 1 minute time frame and also a 1 minute expiry right over here. Okay. And the great thing is because this is a 1 minute expiry, you can use live markets if you want to. And so to select a live market, you would just scroll down until you find the assets that do not have the initials OTC after them. And this will let you know that these are live markets right here. You have Euro USD, and you can see they're going to pay out a lot less than the OTC markets. I think maybe Pocket Option wants you to trade with the OTC pairs. I don't really know. But most of the live markets are going to have a smaller payout, so just something to take into consideration if you're looking to get, the highest return on your investment and, looking back to get the most money, the most bang for your buck when it comes to every trade that you take within the platform, then it might be something to consider using OTC pairs instead of a live market. So just something to keep in mind. So now, if you look on almost any chart, doesn't really matter what it is, whatever asset it is, you're going to have these zones. And unless somebody points them out, maybe you don't really see them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab kind of like a little art tool here, this little rectangle, and this allows me to, draw this little box on the chart. And this might not be the greatest example, but if I draw this and if actually position this somewhere on the chart, you can see that the price it looks like it's responding to this one area. You see that, how it comes up and it rejects, comes down, and it looks like the prices came up and it's rejected again. Somewhere around this price here, it's went down, but it came up and it also rejected a third time. And look at that. So those are those profit zones. And so looking at this, we can see, okay, well, maybe in the future, maybe I can see, well, if the price is going up, well, maybe there's a turnaround point when that price could come down. Where's that rejection point? And so this is a really great way to identify where that could be. Now we can look in the past, past price action here. You can see there was a little bit of rejection around the same area. Look at that. So, and the best way is to just grab a tool. You can use like a line tool or a rectangle tool or something like that, and just draw that on the chart. And you can see that as soon as it comes into that zone there, that one little wick on that candle, it just rejects and it starts to come right down. This one right here didn't quite make it, and this is on every chart, guys. This is not just on a selected, I'm not cherry picking charts or anything like that at all. I mean, we can go almost to anything random. And if you look at it, now this is a little bit jagged, you know, it's kind of going up. If you look really, really closely though, you can see that support and resistance happening. And if you don't see it and you're zoomed in, zoom out. And so when I do that, look at this. We can start to see, look over here. Look at this right here. We've got, even at this point right here, we can see a little bit of rejection. If I grab this, see, where is it here? Let's grab this rectangle tool and just position this. And if I resize this down a little bit and position it up here, look at how the price is responding to this area. You know, it's came up to this point again, a little bit of rejection, but it finally broke through. But also, if you have a breakout, the price may return back to that zone and then bounce off of that zone and continue to the upside, which it looks like that's happened. So normally they call this like a break and retest. So you break through the zone, right? And then you come back to retest that zone and then continue, you know, in whichever direction that you're going. So this could be the opposite direction. This could be, you know, going to the downside, but of course we're going to the upside now. But I'll zoom in here a little bit so you can see this. Sometimes I forget to zoom in because I know some of you are on your phones and stuff, so that's okay. But you can see that the prices came up to reject this area. It's coming down, and then it's coming back up. And it looked like it's kind of slowed down a little bit. Once it's getting closer to this zone, it's kind of hesitating a little bit, and it's testing this area to see whether or not if it really wants to break through or not, right? Do we really want to go through that zone? I guess in this case, so this would be like resistance. So it's resisting, you know, it's almost like resistance is like the ceiling and support is like the floor. Okay, so that's just one way to remember it. Like the floor is supporting you. And then so if you were to try to like go up, but there's a ceiling, that's your resistance, right? So we're breaking through that resistance, but once we do, we come back and look at that. It retests this price on this level, and then it finally decides to turn around and continue to the upside. But look what happens. It also comes down again. And once it gets close to this zone, it starts to hesitate here. So what could happen? There's only two things that can happen in trading, and we really never know 100% sure what's going to happen, but the price could either go up or down, right? Not super helpful because you may want to enter a trade and you want to know if it's going to go up or down. Well, there's no guarantee if it's going to do that. There's just chances. There's just, you know, the probability of that going or turning around or bouncing off of a support zone or a resistance zone. We don't really know. So we can take trades, and if we lose a trade, we can double up. And of course, again, this is not using the trade manager. The trade manager will allow you to withstand multiple consecutive losses in a row. It's not quite martingale. It's a little bit better than that. And but what we're going to do on this video is just find a chart, something that has just a very consistent up and down movement. Okay, here's something that's pretty decent, but it looks like overall downward trend, which is fine. And, you know, the support and resistance is going to be a little bit more noticeable when you're inside of a sideways market. Sometimes when it's going up or down, you're having these pullbacks. And those are also really good indicators and entry points. We can use also Bollinger Bands. So we can also use a Keltner channel when we are looking for trade entries. Now, I don't want to get too heavy on the indicators, but there is one indicator if you see a market going up or down. If the trend is up or down, you can come over here and click on the little indicators button, and you'll find a little indicator here called the Keltner channel. Now, I have some videos on the Keltner channel, and you can modify this Sometimes I've found that a multiplier of 2 seems to work a little bit better. It gives you a little bit wider of a channel. So this is kind of experimental, whichever works for you, but a multiplier of 2 works pretty good. And you can see that though, how this price just stays within the channel, but also when the price gets to the center of this Keltner channel, it just seems to want to turn around at that point. Because when you have an up and down trend, you have a pullback. You know, anytime during a trend, it doesn't matter which direction that it's in, if it's up or down, there's gonna be pullbacks. And so if we see a pullback, we can catch trades on those pullbacks, so we can enter. And sometimes it'll go against us, but maybe if we enter a second time, then it'll go ahead and continue in the direction in our favor, basically. So, but look at this. I mean, this is happening all the time. You can see that it's prices came up and it's came down very close to the middle of that Keltner channel and then has continued on the way up. Look at that. This is happening everywhere, guys. Look at this. Multiple touches of the middle line on this Keltner channel. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches near the middle of that Keltner and all the rejections that are happening there. So let's go and just remove the Keltner for now, because we're really wanting to focus just on support and resistance for this video, but that's one way that you guys can do this. So yeah, let's just find something here for support and resistance. You know, you may want to look for something that's going a little bit more sideways, which could potentially break out at any time. So look what's happening here. So it looks like it's hesitating a little bit. Now, why is it doing that? Well, it's touched on this price once before in the past. You can draw out your zones before you begin trading. That's really the trick and the secret, and that's what most traders do when they're trading with this. So in other words, I can grab over here on the art menu here, I can grab the rectangle tool and I can position this up here and create like this zone, which is just like this area. And if the price decides to come up a little higher in this zone, maybe we can take a trade, you know, and let's just see what happens. Let's do that. So I've got $10 in here. Let's take a trade. Now this zone, the prices came up much, much further, but I'm just going to kind of lay it around here somewhere, almost like an average. And if we see the price come up here, you know, it has 1 minute. This is a 1 minute expiry. So we got a whole minute to wait for it to reject and turn around. It may be doing that already. It looks like it's already touched the zone here, but it could be a fake out, right? It looks like it's rejecting, but maybe it's not. Maybe it will continue to the upside a little bit. You can go to a different chart and draw out more zones if you want to. This looks kind of like a little bit of rejection, but it's not really super defined as support. So I'm probably not going to draw anything around this level, but this one here at the top looks very interesting. But you can see, look at that, just before our eyes, you can see this reject off of that. Now it could come back up and it could reject again and again and again before it decides to come back down. But it can also continue through that zone. So let's just drag this out a little further there. And we can just sit tight and watch it. And you can see it's trying to figure out, do I really want to go through? Maybe they're testing, they're seeing if this price really wants to go a little bit higher than whatever it is, 0.648. And, they're testing the market to see if maybe they can fake people out, and maybe we could make traders put in more money so it breaks through that, resistance there. I don't know. It may not go through. But we can definitely see some rejection there. So here's what we're going to do, because our focus here is to understand support and resistance and looking for those profit zones on the charts. Not necessarily making a bunch of money here, because I have other ways of trading, and I use the trade manager when I'm trading with Pocket Option to stay in profit. Look at this. Oh, this is really awesome. So look at that. It's coming way up here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a sell. That's okay. It's a decent entry. Now we've got a whole minute here, 1 minute expiry, guys, to see if this rejects off of this area. Now this could totally break through, right? It could totally go through and just bust right through this. And so let's just go ahead and wait this out. And you can also look a little bit further in the past if you want to. Look at this. So the price has touched on this area before. Look at that, way back here. So it's been there before. And obviously it's having a difficult time getting past this price. So if that's the case, well, maybe it'll reject. You know, is there a higher probability that it could just bounce off the ceiling and come back down? Maybe. Or we could also miss this trade by a few seconds, you know. But it could also be the time that it does break through that ceiling and does break through that resistance. We just don't know. So we could miss this by a few seconds. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so that was a loss, just barely. I mean, it looks like I'm going to go ahead and enter another sell. One more, okay? And we can enter again. You know, I can just go crazy and double up on every trade. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to focus on following the profit zones here. And because you see those long wicks, right? Or what we call, like, that's, you know, liquidity is up there, of course. A lot of people put their stop losses beyond the zones, and then the wicks come up and they take people out of their stop loss. It triggers their stop loss. Excuse me, it triggers their stop loss. They're out of the trade, they lose money. This can happen, guys. And so we don't use stop losses in pocket option. However, for the first time ever, we do have a stop loss on the trade manager, something that I've implemented into the trade manager. So it does alert you when you're down. If you have a certain amount of drawdown that you're encountering, it will alert you about that stop loss. Okay, so there's a win. But really, guys, the whole point is to see and understand this rejection is what I really want to convey and get this over to you guys, is to make sure that you really understand this. We can go ahead and clear out some artwork here or delete all. There we go. So if you've got a bunch of drawings on the pocket option chart, you can just come over here and there will be a button here that says delete all. And so any kind of scribbles and drawings that you have, you can erase them all at once. So let's go ahead and switch to chart and find something that looks like it may be approaching a zone. Okay, so that's the first step. If you're wondering, well, how do I start this? The first step is to look for something approaching a zone. So look at this, a little bit of play down here. But also, do you see the hesitation? Not really the greatest zone, not really, but you know, you can see, even though it's just a little bit of an area where the price is rejecting, you can see that there's a little bit of hesitation before it starts to continue down. So this is happening everywhere. Let's grab the rectangle tool over here and let's position this. Look what we got here, guys. See, if I didn't draw out this rectangle, you may have not have seen it. But if you look over here on the left, you can see how all of this rejection here, it just does not want to go any higher. Now, it could go higher. We don't know. There's only two things that can happen. The price could either go up or down. That's it. We don't really know, guys. Now, we have the odds are a little bit better on our side because, you know, we're taking into account where the price has responded before. So the odds are a little bit better for us, right? But the house, they have the best odds. But we're getting a little bit of rejection there off of this zone. So look at that. You guys, you know, you may think that, well, Mark only uses the trade manager or only talks about the trade manager. And yes, I mean, 99% of the time, yeah, I use the trade manager. But before I created the trade manager, this is how I used to trade. I mean, how else are you going to do it? I mean, there's moving averages and stuff like that. But these are things that are really happening in the market. You can clearly see with your own eyes the rejection off of these zones. Look at this. You can go back and look and see this happening. So that's what I wanted to show you guys today. Really simple concept. Support and resistance, identifying those profit zones. And if you guys want to learn how to win, even if you lose, you can do that using the trade manager. You could have multiple consecutive losses in a row. You're trading with a smaller amount, of course, but this compounds over time. And we also do have a group where we have many successful traders that come into, or they maybe have not been successful until they have joined, they have tried everything. They've tried futures, stocks, they've tried Forex, and many of them have not been profitable until now. We do have a group, and it's called the Wealth Warriors Alliance. It's a website and membership website, and also you get access to all of our spreadsheets and calculators that will help you and give you that edge that you're looking for. If you find yourself having multiple losses and you're trying to figure out, how do I get myself out of this hole? If you go into that downward spiral of loss after loss, or maybe you have some wins, but then you can't seem to recoup your losses and make up for those losses, we have the algorithms behind these spreadsheets will help you and give you the exact trade amounts to enter, so you don't have to wonder. It really takes out the guesswork. And so it provides all of that information right on the Trade Manager. You can also control your own risk. You can set the risk levels on however you want. I have many, many videos on my YouTube or on my private website that some of these strategies are not available on YouTube, but some of them are. But I go into much more greater detail on what I'm doing with these different strategies. We've got over 1,200, almost going to hit here pretty soon, 1,300 active members inside of the group. Very nice, supportive community, very positive environment. Lots of cool stuff is happening. And these are some of the things that the users are posting on a daily basis. Everybody posts their screenshots. I think it's awesome. If you make a bunch of money or something, I encourage you guys, post it. And that's awesome because it just gives you a lot of feedback. And it's just really nice. It's not always great to trade alone. It's kind of a lonely profession, I guess you could say. It's not always fun, but it's more fun to share things with other members. And another great thing is that we do have a members submission area inside of the website. And when a member finds a strategy that works really, really well, what they'll do is normally they'll hopefully, not always, but they will make a video about that strategy, and then we will post that video inside of the private members area so everybody can see it. And this is something that I do not post on my YouTube channel. So all that stuff is private. So yeah, I mean, some of the really good stuff is in here. Oh, guys, if you're wondering, by the way, this is a very, I would say, a very affordable fee. This is only a one-time thing, no subscriptions. It's something that you purchase only one time, and then that's it. And most of our members make it back anyway in a few days. So, but yeah, these are just some testimonials, and you guys can trade anywhere that you want, of course, with Pocket Option. All you need is your laptop and your phone, and you guys are good to go. But that's the Wealth Warriors Alliance. I'll leave a link down below in the comments area, and you guys can go over there and check out and see more about it if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, I mean, support and resistance. It's been around for years. It's not going anywhere. A lot of traders swear by it. They still use it till this day. And there's a lot of traders that have become millionaires just by using support and resistance, guys. It's, it sometimes the simplest thing is really all you need. For me personally, I like to use strategies with no indicators. I like naked charts, just the candlesticks, and this strategy allows you to do that. So really, really good stuff. I wish you all the best of success. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.